Hello student, welcome in ROSE project. रयत शिक्षण संस्था सातारा, Sadhguru Gadge Maharaj College Karad conducted that 12th ROSE project 2021-22 presented by Katkar Priyanka Sham. My subject is physics. Topic number 15 from physics paper second, that is structure of atoms and nuclei. So introduction of lecture number 3, units and measuring masses of sub atoms and subparticles. Units and measuring masses of atoms and subparticles. Then size of the nucleus, nuclear forces and nuclear binding energy. What is the size of the nucleus? We will see in that lecture. Then nuclear forces and nuclear binding energy. What are the nuclear forces and what is the nuclear binding energy? We will see in that lecture. First, units and measuring masses of atoms and subparticles. Here, masses of atoms and subatomic particles are measured in three different units. First unit is the usual unit is kilogram. First unit is the usual unit kilogram. Then proton and neutron, mass of electron, mass of proton and mass of neutron respectively in this unit are mass of electron is equal to 9.109383, that is 9.109383 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. Then mass of proton is equal to 1.672623, 1.672623 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. And mass of neutron is equal to 1.674927 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. Obviously, kilogram is not a convenient unit to measure the masses of atoms or subatomic particles, which are extremely small compared to 1 kilogram. So, kilogram is not convenient unit to measure the masses of atoms or subatomic particles, which are extremely small compared to 1 kilogram. Therefore, another unit called as unified atomic mass unit, that is AMU, is used for the purpose. Therefore, another unit called as unified atomic mass unit, that is U, is for the purpose. 1 U is equal to 1 upon 12th of the mass of a neutral carbon atom having atomic number 12 in its lowest electronic state. 1 U is equal to 1.660540 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. 1 U is equal to 1.6605402 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. In this unit, the masses of the above three particles are mass of electron 0.0055 U, mass of proton is equal to 1.007825 U, and mass of neutron is equal to 1.008665 U. The third unit for measuring masses of atoms and subatomic particles is in terms of the amount of energy that their masses are equivalent to according to the Einstein famous mass energy relation. A particle having mass m is equivalent to an amount of energy E is equal to mc square. The unit used to measure masses in terms of their energy equivalent is the electron volt per c square. One atomic mass unit is equal to 9.931.5 mega electron volt per c square. The masses of the three particles in this unit are mass of electron is equal to 0.511 mega electron volt per coulomb square. Then mass of proton is equal to 9.938.28 mega electron volt per coulomb square, and mass of neutron is equal to 939.57 mass electron volt per coulomb square. So here then sizes of the nucleus. The size of an atom is decided by the sizes of the orbits of the electrons in the atom. Larger the number of electrons in an atom, higher are the orbits occupied by them, and the larger is the size of the atom. Similarly, all the nuclei do not have the same size. Obviously, the size of the nucleus depends upon the number of the nucleons present in the in it, that is on its atomic number A. From experimental observation, it has been found that the radius Rx of the nucleus X is related to A. That is Rx is equal to R naught into A raised to 1 by 3. That is equation number 1. That is, the size of an atom is decided by the sizes of an orbits of the electrons in the atom. Larger the number of electrons in the atom, higher are the orbits occupied by them, and larger is the size of the atom. Similarly, all the nuclei do not have the same size. All the nuclei do not have the same size. Obviously, the size of the nucleus depends on the number of nucleons present in it. That is on its atomic number A. From the experimental observation, it has been found that the radius Rx of the nucleus X is related to the A, that is Rs is equal to R naught into A raised to 1 by 3, that is equation number 11. The third unit for the size of the nucleus, where R naught is equal to 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 15 meter, and the density of rho inside a nucleus is given by 4 by 3 pi into r cube into rho is equal to m into a, where m is the average mass of nucleons. As the difference in their masses is rather small, the density is given by rho is equal to 3 into m into a divided by 4 into pi into rx cube, that is equation number 12. Where R naught is equal to 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 15 meter. The density rho inside the nucleus is given by 4 by 3 pi r cube into rho is equal to m into a, where m is the average mass of the nucleons and proton and neutron. As the difference in their masses is rather small, the density is given by rho is equal to 3 into m into a divided by 4 pi rx cube, equation number 12. Substituting for the rx from the equation number 11, we get rho is equal to 3 into m into a divided by 4 pi r naught cube into constant. Thus, the density of the nucleus does not depend on the atomic number of the nucleus and is the same for all nuclei. Substituting the values of the constant m into pi and r naught, the values of the density is obtained as 2.3 into 10 raised to 17 kilogram m raised to minus 3, which is the extremely large among all the elements. Osmium is known to have the highest density, which is only 2.2 into 10 raised to 4 kilogram m raised to minus 3. Full stop. This is the smaller than the nuclear density by the 13 orders of the magnitude. Nuclear forces. You have learned about the 4 fundamental forces that occur in nature. Out of these 4, the force that determines the structure of the nucleus is the strong force, also called as nuclear force. This acts between the protons and neutrons and is mostly attractive. It is different from the electrostatic and gravitational force in terms of its strength and range, that is, the distance up to which it is effective. Over a short distance of about a few fm, the strength of the nuclear force is much higher than that of the other two forces. Its range is very small and its strength goes to zero when the two nucleons are at a distance larger than a few fm. So this is the contrast to ranges of electrostatic and gravitational forces which are infinite. The protons in the nucleus repel one another due to their similar charges. The nuclear forces between the nucleus counter the forces of the electrostatic repulsion. As the nuclear force is much stronger than the electrostatic force for the distances between the nucleons in a typical nucleus, it overcomes the repulsive force and keeps the nucleons together, making the nucleus stable. That is when we contain the proton and nucleus. Proton and nucleus repels one another due to their similar positive charges. The nuclear forces between the nucleons counter the forces of electrostatic repulsion. As the nuclear force is much stronger than the electrostatic force, the distances between the nucleons in a typical nucleus, it overcomes the repulsive forces and keeps the nucleons together, making the nucleus stable. The nuclear force is not yet well understood. What we know about its properties can be summarized as follows. First, it is the strongest force among the subatomic particles. Its strength is about 50 to 60 times larger than that of the electrostatic force. It is the strongest force among the subatomic particles. Its strength is about 50 to 60 times larger than that of the electrostatic force. Second, unlike the electromagnetic and gravitational forces, which act over large distances, the nuclear force has a range of about few FM and the forces is negligible when two nucleons are separated by a larger distances. The nuclear force is independent of the charge of the nucleons. That is, the nuclear force between the two neutrons with a given separation is the same as that between two protons or between a neutron and a proton and the same separation. Nuclear binding energy. We have seen that hydrogen atom, the energy with which the electrons is in its ground state is bound to the nucleus, which is the single proton in this case, is 13.6 electron volt. This is the amount of energy which is released when proton and electron are brought from infinity to form the atom in its ground state. In other words, this is the amount of energy which has to be supplied to the atom to separate the electron and proton, that is to make them free. The proton and the neutron inside the nucleus are also bound to one another. Energy has to be supplied to the nucleus to make the nucleons free, that is, the separate them and take them to large distances from one another. This is the energy is the binding energy of the nucleus. Same amount of energy is released if we are bring individual nucleons from infinity to form the nucleus. Where does the released energy come from? It comes from the masses of the nucleons. The mass of the nucleus is smaller than that of the total mass of the constituent nucleons. Let the mass of the nucleus having the atomic number Z and mass number A be capital M. It's smaller than the sum of the masses of the Z. Masses of the Z protons and N is equal to A minus Z neutrons. We can write delta M is equal to Z into MP plus N into Mn minus M minus capital M. This is equation number 13. So delta M is called as the mass defect of the nucleus. The binding energy EB of the nucleus is given by delta B is equal to EB is equal to delta M into C square is equal to Z into MP plus N into Mn minus capital M into bracket C square. On the right hand side of the equation, we can add and subtract the masses Z electrons, which will enable us to use atomic masses in the calculation of the binding energy. The equation 14 thus becomes EB is equal to Z into MP plus Z into Me bracket complete plus N into Mn minus M plus Z into Me bracket complete C square So EB is equal to Z into mH plus N into Mn minus A into Zm into C square, equation number 15, where mH is the mass of the hydrogen atom and maz is the atomic mass of the element being considered. We will be using atomic masses in what follows unless otherwise specified. An important quantity in this regard is the binding energy per nucleon, Eb divided by A of a nucleus. This can be considered to be the average energy which has to be supplied to a nucleon to remove it from the nucleus and make it free. This quantity thus allows us to compare the relative strength with which nucleons are bound in a nucleus for different species and therefore compare their stabilities. Nuclei with higher values of Eb divided by A are more stable as compared to the nuclei having the smaller values of this quantity. Binding energy per nucleon for different values of A, that is for nuclei of different elements, are plotted into the figure. Here plot the particular when we take the different types of the elements, then there is a binding energy changes with respect to mass number. Here on the x-axis there is mass number, on y-axis there is a Eb by A curve which is measured in mega electron volt. Mass number is equal to A. So binding energy per nucleon as a function of the mass number. Deuterium nucleus has the minimum values of Eb divided by A and is therefore the least stable nucleus. The values of Eb divided by A increases with increase in the atomic number and reaches a plateau for between 50 to 80. Thus, the nuclei of these elements are the most stable among all the species. The peak occurs around A is equal to 56, corresponding to iron, which is thus one of the most stable nuclei. The value of Eb divided by A decreases gradually for values of A greater than 80, making the nuclei of those elements slightly less stable. So note that the binding energy of the hydrogen nucleus having a single proton is 0. Here is animation of the nuclear binding energy. See that animation.
Consider the Earth and a rocket ship which are bound together by gravity. If it takes work or energy to pull them apart, then the binding energy is the amount of energy it takes to completely separate them. Similarly, the binding energy in a nucleus is the amount of energy it takes to completely separate the protons and neutrons, collectively called nucleons. There are two forces acting inside the nucleus of atoms. The nuclear force, a residuum of the strong force that holds quarks together, is pulling the neutrons and the protons together, and the electric charge on the protons is pushing them apart. The strong force is a lot stronger than the electric force at short ranges, up to 2.5 times the proton diameter. But at larger distances, the electric force dominates. So as we add nucleons and work our way up the chart of the periodic table, initially each nucleus is generally a little more tightly bound than the one before. This chart gives the actual numbers. This increase in binding energy continues until we get to iron and nickel, where the nucleus has about 60 nucleons in it. At this point, the nucleus has a radius more than 2.5 nucleons wide, which you remember is the range in which the repulsive electromagnetic force begins to dominate. So as we add nucleons past this point, the electric force trying to tear the nucleus apart starts winning, and each added nucleon is a little less tightly bound. When we get to lead and bismuth, and the nucleus contains 207 nucleons, the electric force wins, and the atomic nuclei larger than this are unstable and come apart by themselves, although it may take a while. These larger nuclei can return to more stable arrangements in several ways. They can convert neutrons into protons and give off beta radiation, or kick out whole groups of nucleons, 4 at a time, in alpha radiation. or they can simply split into other smaller, more stable nuclei. When this happens, we call it fission.
So this is the end of the animation of the nuclear binding energy. Thank you all of you. Thank you student. We will meet another lecture.